Welcome everybody to a Delco Nerd Network hot take. Guys, if you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends give our thoughts, give our opinions. I don't know why I'm getting spooky about a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a game, and that game is Mortal Kombat 1. Not to be mistaken with the original from the 90s. We're talking about the one from 2023. You know, you could easily get mistaken. Here to defend Earthrealm at all costs, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Gooch, are you ready to finish them?
I am. Now get over here!
And then that's when I would then get over there.
Yes.
Are you ready to talk about some Mortal Kombat?
I am, man.
I do have a really quick question before we get in. I apologize.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Is Mortal Kombat the original literally called Mortal Kombat 1, or is it just Mortal Kombat?
It's just called Mortal Kombat.
Okay, I didn't know.
But like, we now have a game
that's just Mortal
Kombat
Kombat 1.
When you would probably be talking about Mortal Kombat 1, you'd say Mortal Kombat 1, but now there is a Mortal Kombat 1.
See, now I feel like the naming convention will either have to change in the way of
Mortal
Kombat 1
original.
and then or just Mortal Kombat.
MK.
Yeah.
Not MK1.
No.
MK.
Jeez, that was good.
Yeah, so I got the last few weeks to play Mortal Kombat. Once I returned from Iceland, I had this game on ice because I didn't want to like get into it and leave and like have not a week without it. So I started right after I got back. I've been playing it. Trio hasn't, but of course Trio is.
I did a little taste test.
Yeah, he did actually get some hands-on time with the game just before recording this podcast, but Trio's more of an MK vet than I am. So
yeah, I just didn't get it this time, really, genuinely, because
too many games.
Too many games. And I didn't know. I guess I didn't. I should have just asked, and you probably mentioned it if we were going to review it or not. But at the same time, there's just so much on the plate right now.
I'm not holding this one against you.
I appreciate it.
I have a lot of things against Trio, not this one.
and I mean, I did get to, like I said, taste test it a little bit here. It definitely feels like Mortal Kombat with some notable changes, but I'm excited to hear the in-depth thoughts.
A lot of things have changed, especially since like the MK9 formula has kind of just been flowing, especially through Mortal Kombat entries and Injustice as well.
For sure.
Let's preface that I am no Mortal Kombat professional here. I'm a pretty casual player. I enjoy the game, but I don't know. Like I'm not I'll play online competitively, but like, am I a serious player? No. And
I would say you're a journeyman, not necessarily. Is it journeyman then apprentice? I can't remember. But yeah, I think you're like you play. I wouldn't sell yourself short here. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I just like I feel like when it comes to fighting games, you're either a fucking god or you're nothing, right?
Well, I do think there is also the third option of like, you're good enough to where we can play each other, and like we probably shit on our friends who never play video games. But if we try and get online,
right, we're getting wrecked. There's a line.
Yeah,
there's a line.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so there are a lot of differences. What I was saying. One of the like just let's talk about like the fighting, like let's no campaign itself. The combat of Mortal Kombat. X-rays
with a K,
right? X-rays have changed a little bit. It's no longer, hey, you get hit and your power meter goes up and you use a powerful ability at any point in the battle. X-rays are now called what are they called? Final blows. So you get them, I think, under like 15% health, and then you can use a final blow. So it's kind of like a last resort to kind of like get the one up on your opponent, which all these changes are very skill based. I think MK1 is a lot more difficult than the other games. The environmentals are gone, but the environmentals are now always on your character in the form of cameo fighters, and cameo fighters are most of them are fighters who are not in the game. So you have Kano, Sonya Blade, Sector, Cyrax, Serena, Darius, and Sub-Zero, and
of course Darius. I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course Darius.
Yeah.
Scorpion and Sub-Zero are also there, but they're playable as well. So like there are some unlockable characters. Like Sub-Zero was the first one I unlocked, and he was like a level 10 overall progress unlock. So there's some cameo fighters to unlock, no fighters to unlock with the main roster. But yeah, your environmentals are now just always on you. So you just hit R1 and, like Sonya will come out and do an attack. And like, it's, like she has a few different ones and so do all the others. Yeah. I'm not sure like the exact difference with all the cameo fighters. I don't actually know the answer to that. I assume there has to be.
Well, it seems like their attacks are slightly different in a way, but like there's mostly like, of course, like in the way of like their fit to their character. But like from the brief game that I played, it seemed like they all have like some sort of like projectile range in that way. Yeah, it didn't. It's curious to me. Like, there's not really like a huge major difference in that. But I guess that makes sense because it's like if it's replacing the environmentals, those are mostly the same for everyone, depending on, I guess, what type of character you had. I know in Injustice, because like if you were a super strong character, like you'd like throw the boulder, or if you were like Nightwing, you'd just jump off the boulder and go over people. You know? What I mean?
I forgot about that.
That's very interesting to hear.
Yeah, so like I think they've just kind of like stripped down the sides of the game, like the potatoes. Like it's more meat. It's
more focused on your character,
the main event,
and like your actual fighting, combat,
not these like gimmicks that kind of help you. I don't know, make the game more fair. Like you still
a little bit more simple, easier, I would say.
Yeah, you have to rely on your just ability, and like there are opportunities where you can use your cameo fighter or your final blow, but like that's it. Like other than that, it's the same Mortal Kombat and love. I can't really talk to how the fighters have changed at all. So again, if you're looking for that deep dive, unfortunately Delco Network cannot give you that.
It would be cool if we had like some type of fighting game expert we could bring on. We just don't.
Yeah, I mean, we could have, but like I was just like, this was convenient just to do.
Absolutely.
We've been having a lot of guests on too, so sometimes it's nice to just not do.
Absolutely, and of course we love our guests. It's just more me and Gooch can very easily align our schedules because we just do this every Sunday. So it makes it pretty simple.
The campaign, and if you've played MK11 and Aftermath, I know you have, you're probably asking, is the story like super simple now? No.
It's
not.
I appreciate it. I did see
not.
I saw like a reel or something, and it was like when me and the boys show up to our friend's house to get him to come out, and it's just like this insane cast of characters showing up to like Johnny Cage's house or something. I was like, I do want to play
it.
This.
Starts out like, okay, spoilers for MK1 coming. Do you really care?
No, not necessarily.
I mean, you'll still
play it at the same time at some point for sure.
Yeah. So spoilers for MK11, MK1 coming ahead. So just watch out. So it starts off Liu Kang, no longer the timekeeper, but he's created the new era, is what we're calling it, with Geras' help. And he is now the Raiden of
the god.
This timeline. He is the fire god, fire and something else god, thunder god, fire and thunder. I don't know. He's two, but he is like the Raiden now, and now Raiden is just a normal Asian person. He's no longer.
That
white.
was a very that's a lot of.
I think it is like Raiden has been like a white dude as long as the series has been alive, and it's iconic, but you'll see. So it's it's Liu Kang, it's Kung Lao
and Raiden.
Right,
yeah. So Raiden
and
takes
Johnny Cage and Kenshi are the Earthrealm defenders for Mortal Kombat, and Liu Kang is gathering them. That's when Liu Kang shows up to Johnny Cage's house. Right. Yeah. And he's like, "What the fuck?"
Raiden
is this?
and Kung Lao are the new Liu Kang and Kung Lao.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually cool. I like that a lot. And like, is it setting up like Kung Lao to be like the champion this time, or is it more just all of them? Like, I'm curious.
Raiden is.
Oh, interesting. That seems
a bit on point.
Seems a little self gratification there.
Yeah,
but okay.
Raiden is the champion. So you do your Mortal Kombat tournament. Sindel is the queen of our world.
Yeah.
And
I have too much information about Mortal Kombat in my head.
No, it's okay. No, that's good, right?
Shao Kahn is in it, right? But he's not Shao Kahn.
Shao Kahn is in it, but he's General Shao. So he's not a Khan yet. Kitana. So this is like very origin. Like Kenshi loses his sight in this game.
Right.
Bihan and Scorpion are like.
They start out as friends, right? Yeah,
right. Brothers on the same side, and then Sub-Zero kind of turns evil, which I was hoping he wouldn't. And like he doesn't for a while, but then he breaks bad.
Yeah.
Melina stays good, Baraka's good, Reptile is good.
Right.
Like there's a lot of like different changes. It was like cool.
I love the way they did Reptile.
Very like classic Reptile almost. Like of like, hey, he's a human, and like some attacks he turns into a lizard. He turns into fucking Killer Croc.
Yeah.
I did really appreciate, like, again, I'm not a Mortal Kombat veteran, but like I know who's evil and who's good.
Right.
And I appreciated this like switch up of character dynamics. And another thing that kind of the world, this era prefaces on is what's his name? He begins with a Q.
Quan Chi?
Quan Chi and Shang Tsung have been depowered. Like Liu Kang like goes out of his way to make sure they don't become evil. That doesn't work out. Doesn't work out.
Yeah.
That does happen. So you kind of get this idea that like somebody is breaking time and now influencing both of those parties, and a plot to take over Outworld starts developing with Shang Tsung at its head, Quan Chi, General Shao, Reiko, eventually Sub-Zero, and a few others. They try to kill Sindel and take over Outworld. You find out that this person who looks kind of like Kronika is none other than Shang Tsung from MK11. He did not die, so he's trying to take over this new era.
Right, to set things right.
Right,
for his,
he wants the Shang Tsung Empire.
Yeah.
So, and it does this is towards the end of the game, and it does kind of it goes
wild.
It goes so fucking hard, like at certain points.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, you're making me want to buy this as soon as I get
once the
home.
reveal happens, like Shang Tsung's like, here's here's like, oh, it's White Raiden, he's back, and it's like, yes, like, and it's the same voice.
My man,
he comes back. Like some of those MK11 characters, those villain characters come back. And it's just like there's like a final battle where it's like, for some reason it's like Frost with like reptiles powers, or it's Girl Scorpion, and like you like work your way up the giant pyramid like in Armageddon and the beginning of MK9 when they're all dead. It's like the same thing.
Wow.
So it's like a bunch of different multiversal Mortal Kombat characters who are in the game and are not in the game.
Right.
Like shit. Like there's a version of like Shinnok, and like I'm like, this is fucking nuts.
This is like
Mortal Kombat Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Like this is insane.
Yeah.
And like they really have fun with it. Like you on your way up the tower, you're just like versing people as they come at you. And again, it's like I did it twice because there's a trophy to do so, but like you're just fighting.
Is there a choice at the ending or some kind?
No.
Oh, interesting. I don't mind that.
You're fighting just random like variations of characters. Like I said, like I'm fighting like it's Liu Kang, but he's Kano.
Interesting. Like he has his hat, but he has the Kano eye and stuff, and
and I'm like okay.
It's like combinations of characters,
right?
But does he fight like Liu Kang?
He fights like Kano, but it's Liu Kang's voice.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Like you get like it's cool. Like you'll get there and you'll be like,
so you fight some of the extra characters in the campaign.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah. What are they? The cameo characters, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And you're fighting like for the most part, like it's just like the Injustice and past MKs where it's okay. Here's Johnny for 5, and there's Kung Lao for 5, and then there's Melina for 5, and Katana, Liu Kang, and then the end is like just a bunch of little battles, and you pick whoever you want to play. So I picked Baraka because I was just like, I couldn't really find my main in this game, but I really enjoyed playing Baraka for some reason.
The little I just played with Smoke I really liked. So
usually I like jump on a character like for aesthetics wise. I was a Cassie Cage main in MK11 and like most of those new characters are gone. Some of them come back in that final fight, like Jackie Briggs and like Takeda, like run down the steps. So like at one point, it's just like, dude, everyone's here. This is like the Smash mode of like everyone's here.
Yeah.
Everyone's fucking dying right now and killing each other.
Crazy.
But the campaign is a fun time. It's a few hours. It
seems in step with what they've been doing,
right? And you really thought they were going to take a step back, especially with like everyone's young again.
Yeah,
everyone
like they're going to start slow here and just bring it back.
We're going to do the origins for Kenshi and Scorpion and Sub-Zero and Raiden. He gets his talisman in this. Like he still has his thunder powers, and like I was just really surprised about what they were doing, but then they kind of like took that
and
we're
just like, actually,
across the room, and we're like, no, just kidding, multiverse, let's go.
LOL, that is funny.
Like Shang Tsung, he's back, and there's 2 of them,
and they're little bastards.
It's I had a lot of fun, and honestly, even like talking about it, like,
dude, you're making me want to buy it right now.
It is a lot of fun, and again, it's what I like about Mortal Kombat, and I guess like I think we saw this with Street Fighter 6, like they also did like a campaign. I like how they're making fighting games more of a solo player experience
that you can
like
if you want to be that way.
If you don't have a friend to play, or you're not hanging out with people, and you like you maybe you're just like not, you don't think you're good enough, or you don't want to play people online because you get trashed pretty easily, even in the casual sometimes.
For sure.
I have played the versus unranked, and I fared pretty well.
All right,
like I was like,
you weren't doing too bad.
Yeah, I wasn't doing too bad. I wasn't getting like utterly like trashed by people. But I like how like when you match make, and I think it was like this in the last one, you can see the win-loss ratio. So if you see one that's like not, it's like 200 yeah, it's like I'll pass.
Oh yeah, no thanks.
I'm not gonna play him. So that's the campaign, and then there is an invasion game mode, which I like just played not even like 2 hours ago, like right before we started this podcast, and I'm glad I did. Invasion is, so it's kind of like it's a post game mode,
right?
You can play as any character, and it's kind of like Mario Party Mortal Kombat. You're on a board, and you need to like you go to like a circle, and you like fight an enemy to progress to the next circle, and you get keys, and you can unlock things to like, you start at like the tutorials in Johnny Cage's mansion,
right?
So you like, you pass a room, and you could like, you're gonna get a key to go there later, so you have to go like the right direction for now, and like there's like, it's not only fights, but they bring back those, like, remember how like there were like combat modifiers in like Injustice?
Sure.
And MK11, like they're kind of back in this mode. There are towers like traditionally as well.
Right.
But it's not like, it's kind of like they took the multiversal thing from Injustice, because that's where this started.
Right.
I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
they had towers, but they evolved it in Injustice 2, right?
I think so. I think Injustice 2 was where it was like the towers were the big thing still. Or no, they were like the planets that you invaded or whatever.
And it's like,
and then you're like, I gotta go.
Robin has killed everyone.
Yeah, and you gotta go. Beat them, do these specific things.
I think like they kind of took that concept, and like the first season for Invasions is and again, it's like Kung Lao gives you the intro, and it's like, everything's over, and like but the timeline is still malleable, and there's like chaos going on in the multiverse, and like shit's going crazy. So
right, so let's do it.
Go fight.
Yeah.
So like the first season is called Spectre, and I'm curious how the seasons are gonna work necessarily, but like the premise is Scorpion. Sub-Zero keeps killing Scorpion's wife, and Scorpion goes in the multiverse to find another version of his wife and kid, and he just keeps killing them all. And he found a world where his wife marries Sub-Zero, and he goes crazy. So like that's the premise.
Interesting.
Like there's like this map of like floating islands. So you're on like a board, right? So like you're like progressing, and like you're walking as the character, and you get to the circle, and it's like, you got to fight Katara or Natara, with whatever cameo. And
you mean Megan Fox?
Yeah, I do mean Megan Fox. We'll talk about her in a sec. And then you go to the next one. I'm like, this is a cool little evolution of, the post-game solo player experience. There's no crypt. Instead, I think this is also kind of flowing into that.
I see.
The only shitty thing is the shrine returns with RNG. You throw 1,000 coins into the thing, you get random rewards. I'm like, guys, I don't think that's how.
That's not good. Yeah,
no. You should just be able to see everything and buy everything.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
so annoying.
And of course, really you can buy like currency and shit.
Of course, you can. Listen, so I do. One thing that really did kind of, rub me the wrong way this time again, and it's nothing new. They do this with all the fighting games, and I just really, it does annoy me when they announce the combat pass before the game is even out. And
they did this with MK1.
And I'm like,
we just got the Omni-Man trailer yesterday.
And I'm like, guys, that's finished content. Like, why are we, like, it's, and I get it, you know what, you put more money and time into stuff, but like, it really does annoy me that like we have to wait to get these. Like, it made more sense back in the day, I guess. If it's like, all right, we put out the game, now we're gonna start working on the side.
Like, it was novel with MK9,
yeah,
especially since that was like the first, I'll say, modern generation of a Mortal Kombat where like they could do it
exactly. And it's just like, I'm like, at this point, I'm like, why don't I just wait and get this on sale in a month, because it will be at certain, especially
And
when
that
it comes
seems to be a lot of people's thinking.
and then I'll get the combat pack with the whole game. And like, you were telling me that you play as Shang Tsung in the campaign, and you can't get him to play in free play unless you pre-order the game.
Yeah, so I have him, but I'm like, why is Shang Tsung a DLC character? He's in the game. Where we were talking like in Injustice 2, Darkseid is the pre-order character, but Darkseid isn't in the story
You don't play
at all.
You don't interact with him at all. He's
and
just
he's
an
not
extra
in it. Period.
So like that one, I
that
still
was like,
don't,
oh, nice, cool.
yeah, it's like, oh, it makes more sense in my mind. Of
Yeah,
like, I'm like, okay, I guess I can get behind that more. But like, you're taking a character that's in the game that you play as, and you're using him as DLC. Not even DLC, but like a pre-order bonus to make sure you get me to pre-order your game, so I play as this character that I can already play as.
And I guess you have to buy Shang Tsung.
Yeah, if you don't,
pre-order?
like, that's very shitty. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what else to really say on that. That's the one part of these fighting games that I don't love, is the monetization. I mean, that's a problem for a lot of games now, like a lot of very multiplayer-centric games. So it's not something that's like exclusive to this genre. But yeah, that was my
and then the towers are the character endings, like they always are.
Right.
And then you have like your verses and your King of the Hill. You know, your tutorials. You know, we can go into the practice round. You can do fatalities, stuff like that. It is your standard fare. I think actually without the shrine, it kind of feels a little bit less, but it's a tight package.
Sure.
There really isn't a ton of meat. I know I just talked about one meaty portion, but it's not like there's like 700 million game modes. Like it's a fighting game, and I think like most people who are gonna buy these games know what they're getting.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like, you know what, like I feel like Smash Ultimate, especially, like I don't know how much you've delved into it, but I think
a while, but I have.
But there does seem to be a lot of fat with those games. Like there's a lot of
like
weird
different
shit
like little game modes you can get into,
like
and
game
stuff.
modes. Like there's just like tons of stuff, and it's like, okay, like I'm curious who's at, like, you know, what percentage of players are actually experiencing that content.
Yeah.
You know, or who's just like jumping into
with their friends, and yeah, exactly. It is interesting. I really don't know. The fighting genre is very interesting in the fact of like, you can innovate to a point, and then it's like, all right, now we just got to kind of switch out new things. Like in this, like, it sounds like there's some cool additions. It does sound like they've taken some stuff away that I like. I don't know, environmentals. It would have been cool to have both of those.
I was like, what?
Yeah, and I guess, you know, they're trying to shave it down and make it a little bit more straightforward, and I like the idea of focusing more on your combat. That's fine. But you've made me want to buy this game, Gooch. I'm not going to lie.
Let's great, because I would love to, you know, I think we've had plenty of good sessions of like 2 hour long, like we're just fighting each other.
Well, dude, I mean,
talking.
I remember Injustice. I mean, we've talked about it 1,000 times. We played that for like 3 hours straight the first night we got it. And that is partially because it was a DC-centric thing, I think, for sure. Yeah. But, you know, because we could play as all. That was so cool. But yeah.
Let's talk about the roster, and especially the DLC characters. I think the roster is pretty odd.
I'm just looking up how many there were in the other game. Continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There are a lot of returning characters. Obviously, you know, not even Sub-Zero, Scorpion. They're always in this.
Yeah. Do you ever think there will be a day where they're not in this? Like one of them isn't? Because I don't think. I think those are. Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else has been like a staple of these. Like who's been in like almost all of these games.
Probably Kung Lao and Raiden.
Yeah,
and
I guess that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
those are the main ones.
But like Sonya Blade wasn't in this one. She's back to a cameo fighter. Kano's the same way. You know, we lose Cabal. He's not in this, but we get like randoms like Ashara, and they're coming back from like random, you know, like Deception and like Annihilation and like Shaolin monks, like that era of Mortal Kombat where they were kind of experimenting with the MK formula, and like there was a lot of new characters coming in. You know, Geras is back. He's probably the newest character. Like he's the only returning character that was new in MK11. You know, Jax.
Was he in MK11? Or was it? I thought he. Oh, so, yeah. I'm sorry. I keep getting them confused.
Yeah. Geras was new in MK11. Yeah, that's but like there are no new fighters in this game.
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at the roster right now.
Reiko, Havoc. They've all been in other Mortal Kombat.
Is Matara new?
No.
She's an old character, really?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow, interesting. But no, I mean that makes yeah.
Like, are you on the wiki?
Yeah, I'm on there. I'm on there.
If you click into her, tell me. I didn't think she was new.
I'm on like Mortal Kombat's official website, and it's not giving me
I'm trying to think of other people. Yeah, like Reptile has a new look, and that's cool. Rain is in this. Smoke is in this.
Yeah, Yeah, she is an old character. Her
Scarlet's gone. Jade's gone. Melina and Katana are in this. They're staples as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's
those two specifically
for sure.
Like I know Jade gets swapped in and out.
Definitely.
Sindel is back. She wasn't in MK11. I think she was actually an Aftermath character. Did they bring? Well, she's in.
Oh yeah, I think
she's
you're
in
right.
that,
Actually,
but
you're right. She is in that.
Yeah, they brought her DLC character. But then, like, the DLC fighter pack is interesting in this, and I don't know if I'm gonna get the DLC yet. Honestly, I didn't buy the ultimate edition of it. I bought the base version.
Yeah. How much was the ultimate? Like 120, 110?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And with MK11, they didn't make any trophies for the DLC fighters, so I never really returned to MK11 after I got the platinum.
Yeah.
So I never I think I experienced Terminator. And that was it. Maybe the first two characters. But the DLC fighter pack I think is really enticing. I don't like how MK11 and even Mortal Kombat could kind of I don't like how Injustice and Mortal Kombat get kind of weird with their fighter packs.
In the way of outside characters,
Freddy Krueger, and yeah, I just don't
really. I think that I think those characters line up very well with what Mortal Kombat is for the most part, and even the action characters. Do you wish they just didn't bring in different outside world characters in general?
Maybe I'm more of opinionated about that with Injustice, because real quick, I think this DLC fighter pack is Omni-Man, Homelander, Peacemaker, Ermac, and Quan Chi. Not bad.
No,
they're all comic book characters.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
Which would have worked very well in Injustice. And I think Injustice with the Turtles.
See,
and obviously some of their the DC characters they brought in great, but it's I don't really want Sub-Zero and Raiden in Injustice. I don't want the Mortal Kombat people in this.
I think
and they've done Joker in the past, and I'm curious if they will do I guess Peacemaker is your DC character, but
I could see them doing
on his own.
I could see them doing another real DC character. I don't know. I think Omni-Man and Homelander especially work way more in Mortal Kombat than if you do them in Injustice, you got to tame them down a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're not getting that finisher that you're seeing with Omni-Man.
Right.
I think those fit pretty snuggly within the Mortal Kombat, realm. It feels like they could exist there for sure. So I don't know, that doesn't bug me as much, and I guess I kind of excuse the Sub-Zero and stuff in Injustice, because I'm it's the same
right.
They did do DC versus Mortal Kombat way back, so there's a bit of precedent there. So I don't know, I'll take that, and I do think it's cool that we can get the Joker in Mortal Kombat where he beats someone to death and we see it, you know what I mean?
Right.
I really kind of like those choices in the way of those specific characters to bring over, even all the action characters in MK11. That's awesome. You got RoboCop and fucking Terminator and Rambo, and I don't know. I think those all also fit kind of pretty snugly.
They do work. I think it's just I don't have affinity for them, so I don't
That's
really
fair.
care.
And it's so funny. I saw a reel the other day where it was ranking MK11 DLC characters, and it just called all the action heroes shit, and I was like, you just don't like action movies. It's fine. You don't.
Yeah, and I mean in MK9, PS3 had Kratos as an exclusive character,
right.
And they were doing that. And I remember when Soul Calibur brought in Darth Vader and Yoda. That was pretty wild. Link
that
was also
would be
in
a
Soul
wild
Calibur.
Day if,
Geralt was in a Soul Calibur. Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. They other fighting games do this kind of thing as well.
That would I don't know. It would half annoy me, but I'd find it half cool if if they did an exclusive character for both consoles. I know they would never do it, but if Master Chief showed up in Mortal Kombat and he was just fucking people up, and then on the other side, I don't know. Yeah, God of War is such an easy one, but I'm trying to think of a different one.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, and he's just
Spider-Man web slings into someone's head and just
takes it off. Yeah, it's just
it would never happen.
No, it would never in a million years. But and I think luckily games are getting, or WB is getting a little bit more loose, especially with the DC characters. I would love to see them do another Mortal Kombat versus DC game, but I'd want them to go full on with the violence, and they'd never do. You can never have Superman ripping off someone's head. You can have
they talk about that a lot too,
and you can have You can have Homelander rip someone's head off.
I mean, but I think they did cross lines with Injustice, and I think they made a really good comic book line game.
No, for sure.
Multiverse universe with Injustice by doing like the premise is, you know, Superman.
Are those M? Injustice?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think they're T's. Yeah.
Like, you know, Superman breaks bad, and like that's the premise of our universe, especially in the first one. You know, Injustice Gods Among Us, and I think it was like a cool idea to explore kind of more things you're talking about, because, you know, like you watch Superman kill Shazam in that campaign.
No, it's true.
And a few other characters.
No, and again, that's why I think, like, you know, you can do that type of violence, but you can't do Mortal Kombat type of violence. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it is different. It's a good thing to premise.
And even that you do, there's the one point where Superman does punch through Joker in the first one, but you don't see it, right? You don't see, like, so I think you can step to that degree with those characters, and, you know, people will allow it. But or the companies, I should say, will allow it. But it's still interesting. I'd be curious to see them bring in like an actual hero though in the Mortal Kombat, like I'm trying to like a good guy that like doesn't mind getting his hands dirty a little bit, dude. They could never get it, but like a Punisher showing up in Mortal Kombat.
Have they done Judge Dredd?
I don't think they actually have. That would be a perfect one. That would have lined up more with the action movie stuff.
I mean, we talking? Who did we bring up right before we started? That'd be like, you know, who'd be a good character? And I said this person.
I'm forgetting already.
John Wick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I even said like it would be cool to see Invincible and Omni-Man.
Yeah, but and again, like, so that's where I do think, because they are. You could probably say this about Homelander and him too, but like Omni-Man versus Invincible, we'll make the
Invincible fighting game.
Yeah, and I think I mean just make the Invincible game. I think that'll be fun. But and I think they actually are working on one of those sidebar. But
yeah, I think it's a mobile game though.
Like you can separate Omni-Man. I do think there is a big difference with Omni-Man and Homelander in the way of, I think the laser vision does make enough of a difference to where you can probably add that into Homelander's fighting style a lot more than like Omni-Man and stuff.
Yeah, like they really can't wait. Same, right?
They basically are. Yeah, the only thing that Homelander can do that Omni-Man can't is laser eyes.
It's gonna be interesting to hear Anthony Starr.
It is.
You know, J.K. Simmons is Omni-Man, but you know, Anthony Starr. I'm assuming has never done a voice acting gig.
Maybe not. He might have.
So it'll be interesting to see. And speaking of famous actors in Mortal Kombat, we definitely have to talk about Megan Fox as Natara.
I mean, I guess you can't play as him yet, but Jean-Claude. That's kind of weird that he's not released yet. Jean-Claude Van Damme's skin. Like, I thought that would have been like a thing at the beginning. Like thing that they're just holding back, where I'm like, why are you doing that? Even if you paid for it. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Let's talk about him in a sec, though.
Yeah.
So we had Ronda Rousey as Sonya Blade in MK11. And it was all right.
No,
it wasn't great.
It wasn't. She was so bad.
Okay.
She was very
Well,
stiff.
if you think she's bad, you have no idea.
That's wild, because like I've been hearing that. Like
Megan Fox's portrayal as Natara is terrible.
She's just like flat.
And it's not the character portrayal. She just is clearly like doesn't know how to voice act.
Yeah.
Or like,
and she can normal act. So like that surprised me.
She's like, you know, I'm trying to think of a line. You know, I won't succumb to your evil. And like she talks like this, and it's like it doesn't really sound like she's having a conversation with anyone. She's just saying her lines.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
I do feel like
go look it up. Like it's
I do.
Bad.
I'll have to watch. If I don't, I'll
and she has maybe 6 lines,
but they're
in
noticeable.
The campaign.
Yeah,
like she's not a main character, and you know, she definitely has a lot more voice lines because of all
of the fighting
the intros.
And stuff. Yeah.
But like I'm just like, why pay Megan Fox?
Maybe have her run it back again.
A double A celebrity, this money to use her likeness as a like a C-list MK character and have her say like 6 lines in the campaign. Like, what's the why?
Because they could do the trailer.
The Ronda Rousey thing made a lot of sense. She's a
made
fighter.
More sense for sure. Yeah,
on
its face, it made more sense. Yeah.
You know, I think she was an MK fan.
Right.
Like it made a lot of sense. Was her acting the greatest? And I don't even think she was in WWE at the time. She was still at MMA and UFC. Yeah, like did it work out? Like, oh, sure. Is it bad? Yeah, kind of. But like, is it passable? Maybe. But this Megan Fox thing is just no. It's
interesting.
Hard.
I'm like,
I don't like Megan. I think you can do better than that.
She definitely can. I've seen her. She's actually. Have you ever seen This Is 40?
No.
She's very funny in that.
Yeah, and
she can actually she can act.
It sounds like she came in hungover one day in the studio and did her lines and left.
And they were like,
never came
"That's
back.
fine, Megan. Bye." Like they didn't even be like, "Maybe let's run it back. Let's do one more."
Yeah, like it's sad because of like they're gonna get like celebrities to be in their game. Like at least I hope it's good.
Well, it's so fun. This reminds me
J.K.
of
Simmons sounds great as Omni-Man.
Well,
I
and
mean, but he's
and he is
also
more of a-
Omni-Man in the show.
Exactly, and he's done voice acting more gigs before, probably too.
Yeah.
So I do think there is a different skill set in that for sure, but. Yeah, just maybe run it back a few more times.
And the Jean-Claude Van Damme thing is cool because, you know...
He's been trying to get him forever,
Johnny
right?
Cage is Jean-Claude
He's based
Van
off him,
Damme.
right? Yeah.
And he's in his, like, blood sport outfit.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how that is. Especially the voice acting, too.
And it's him, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's him.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if Jean-Claude Van Damme is, like, you know, like, at this point in his career, like... Has he ever done voice acting or anything like that?
Again,
like,
I think you could probably get someone to loosen up, but it sounds like with the Megan Fox thing, they're like, they just did 2 takes and we're like, that's fine. Bye, Megan. Maybe
and
she
they're
was.
like, shit.
Yeah,
like,
and they're like, this is what we have. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, I've seen, before the game even came out, I saw some, like, reels of, like, you know, her lines, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I thought that was cool when they announced that. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, whatever.
Like, Megan Fox did this thing for Diablo 4 recently, and, like, she's kind of been, like, in the video game sphere a little bit. And I'm like, I think this kind of makes sense. And then it was like, no.
Why'd you guys do that? Yeah.
And it's not like it looks exactly like her. Like, she's demoned up.
Of course,
so.
it's probably her, it's her face, but,
Yeah,
like,
it's
all
her
that
face.
shit all over it. Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's really it. I have to say on Mortal Kombat 1. Trio, I hope you do get it.
I think I will, for sure.
And play with me, and that would be fun.
And yeah, you got it on PlayStation, right?
4.
Yeah, okay.
We got MK11 over there.
That's right. Well, yeah.
Or did you get like Aftermath on Xbox?
I got Aftermath on Xbox because it was the amount for the DLC and it gave you everything.
Yeah.
It was something. So
well, come back to Sony,
Yeah.
man. Jim Ryan's retiring. We gotta go out with
I can't have him crying, so I need to help
can't
that.
have him crying.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say anything else? Any other questions?
No, man. Sounds like a fun game. Sounds like the campaign really delivered.
I hope if you're on the fence, maybe my our review kind of took you off the fence. In the way of getting the game. I think it is good. I don't know if it's gonna win
the world,
awards for Game Awards. We're coming up on that. It's definitely gonna be between Street Fighter 6. I think Tekken 7 also came out this year, or maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat 1, so like Sifu will not be on the fighting game list this year.
But that's not even like a fighting game though in the respect of like what this is, you know.
But like they had to like throw something on there.
Yeah, that is what like that's so Sifu, fantastic game if you have not played that. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. If you've been with us on live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We really appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We got on all your favorite social media pages as well. We got a Facebook page, Discord channel, even over there on Threads if anyone is alive on that platform. All that information can be found on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. You can even email us all your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to respond. For Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.